Okay, first of all, wonderful to be back after having been in Chutz La'aretz. Gentlemen, great to see you here. Even you. And you're right, okay. Parshas Emor. I think really tonight's Lag BaOmer, but I don't know. I've been thinking about something else the whole week, so I'm going to talk about that. And I don't know, maybe we'll connect it. But in this parsha, tell me, is it a big deal? Have you ever heard of blasphemy? What's blasphemy? What does it mean? What does it mean?
Nonsense.
Blasphemy is not nonsense. Blasphemy means cursing God. That's what it means. And there's a story in the parsha. How bad a thing is that? I remember something once happened in yeshiva. I was talking to my father about it, and I said, I'm trying to explain to this guy why it's not okay. And he says, there's certain things you don't need to understand. Every normal person understands it. I said, okay, what if he's not normal? Okay, then maybe you need to come up with an explanation. Okay, fair question. I want to talk about blasphemy, whether it's some people understand. Here's a story in the parsha. Vayetze. Okay, there's a lot of backstory in this story, but basically a guy curses the name of God, curses God with the name of God, and he is put to death by stoning. And some people are like, man, just for a couple of words, he's getting put to death. And others are like, oh, of course. So do we understand it or not understand it? I think it just depends on what the perspective is. I want to try to unpack a little bit about it in the middle of this story, which is there are so many details that have to be pulled from other places, even to put a context to the story. That's a lot of introduction, but let's get to the story. Vayetze ben Isha Yisraelis, the son of a Jewish woman, went out. V'hu ben Ish Mitzri. He was also the son of a Mitzri. The Medrash tells us it's the one case of adultery in Mitzrayim, 200 years in Mitzrayim, surrounded by a nation who's ruling over them. One story happened, and the Torah told us about it. One story. So the son of a Mitzri and of a Jewish woman went out into the Besoch B'nai Yisrael, Vayinotzu b'machane, and they quarreled in the camp. Ben HaYisraelis, the son of this Jewish woman, V'ish HaYisraeli, and a Jewish man. Vayikov ben HaIsha HaYisraelis es Hashem. The daughter of this Jewish woman cursed. He pronounced all the names of the full name of Hashem, which is called the Shem HaMeforesh. We spoke about this earlier in the year. Vayikalel, and he cursed. Vayaviu oso Moshe, they brought him to Moshe. V'shem imo, why is this relevant? Shlomis bas Divri l'matei Don. Shlomis, the daughter of Divri, from the tribe, from the Shevet of Don. Vayanichu b'mishmar, they put him in jail, lifrosh lam al pi Hashem, to wait till Hashem said what his din had to be. Okay, and what's his din? Comes out, he has to be stoned. Okay, what's happening over here? Again, so the daughter of the Mitzri, the son of the Mitzri, and a Jewish woman called Shlomis bas Divri, her son fights with the son of a Yisraeli, a full Yisrael, and he, in this process, he curses God. What's happening here? Who are these people? So this term, Ben Ish Mitzri, Ish Mitzri comes up earlier in the Torah. And there's a story with Moshe as a young man. He's in the house of Paro. He's growing up in the house of Paro. He goes out. Vayigdal Moshe. Moshe grows. Vayetze el Echav. He goes out to his brothers. Vayar b'sivlosam. He sees the struggles of the Jewish people. He helps them with their burdens. He helps them with their load. Vayar ish Mitzri, he saw a Mitzri man, make ish ivri me'echav, striking a Jewish man from his brothers. Vayifen kol v'chol, Moshe turns, looks around, vayar ki ein ish, nobody is there. So some say no good will ever come out of him, some different ways, but the simple meaning, he looked around, nobody sees this story. Vayach es ha-Mitzri, he struck the Mitzri, vayitminehu b'chol, and he hid him in the sand. Vayetze b'yom hasheni, then he goes out in the second day. V'hinei shnei anashim ivrim nitzim, two ivrim are fighting with each other, they're quarreling with each other. Nitzim, which is the same word that we have later on, vayinatzu b'machaneh, they quarreled in the camp, two Jews are quarreling. Vayomer l'rasha lo masaka reyecha. He said to the evil one, why do you strike your friend? One lifted his hand up and he hit him. Who are these two guys? You know who these two guys were? Dasan and Aviram. Always the guys who are trying to take down Moshe and Aaron. Okay. Vayomru, they said, Misam ish sar v'shofet aleinu. Who made you? Who died and left you, boss? Who made you a ruler over us and a judge? Hal hargeni? To kill me? Are you going to kill me? Ata Omer? Are you saying to kill me? Meaning, because how did he kill the Mitzri? Ata Omer, he did it with a word. He said the name of God to the Mitzri and killed him with the name of Hashem. Hal hargeni ata Omer? You can say to kill me? Kasher haragta es ha-Mitzri, like you killed that Mitzri? Vayira Moshe vayomar. Moshe became afraid. And vayomar achein noda hadover. The matter is known. Okay, my secret's out. Right? And also, the Medrash explains, now I know why the Jews are still in Golus, because they are telling Lashon Hara. They are gossiping about things. Paro hears about it. He wants to kill Moshe. Moshe flees. Okay. So now, who are these two guys? Dasan v'Aviram. I was like mining the Midrashim, trying to make sense of this story a little bit. And a few amazing things came out. Okay. First of all, why was the Mitzri beating up the Jew in the first day? Because he had taken the husband of a woman out to work, and when the husband was working in the middle of the night, he went under false pretenses if he was that husband, and he had relations with the woman. And they had one child. And that child is the guy who's fighting later on in the camp. He had one child. Now, the Jew comes home and he sees the Mitzri leaving his house. And he says goes back in, he says to his wife, did he touch you? She's like, that wasn't you? Okay, he knew exactly what was up. He knew what happened. He comes to work the next day and the Mitzri, he says to the Mitzri, you went to my wife? Oh, who's in charge? The Mitzri starts beating him. Moshe comes out. He's walking. He sees this going on. The Mitzri understands the whole thing in an instant. He has Ruach HaKodesh. He kills the Mitzri by saying the Shem Hashem. Then, the next day he comes out. And he sees two people fighting. Says the Medrash, one of those people, Dasan, you know who Dasan was? Dasan was the husband of that woman. He's fighting with his brother, Aviram. The husband of that woman is Dasan. Think about it. He's the one getting beaten up. Nobody else knows that Moshe killed the Mitzri because nobody else was there. The only one who was there was the victim. So the victim says, you're going to kill me like you killed the Mitzri? Wow, Dasan, you are one grateful guy. Okay. All these years later, there's a fight going on in the camp of the Jewish people. The son of this Mitzri, and Shlomis Bas Divri, she's the woman who, because of her very flirtatious nature, had attracted attention, and then what happened next happened. He's brought up by his mother. He doesn't know where he belongs. He thinks he's part of the Shevet of Dan. So he goes, even though Dasan is from Reuven. Well, we're not going to do that now. He goes, he makes his camp, and he puts his tent there. Another guy comes over to him and says, what are you doing here? You're not, you know who this other guy was according to the Medrash? We're not going to be able to put all the pieces together, but this is just. So after this incident, Shlomis Bas Divri, her husband Dasan, according to one Medrash, leaves her. And now that he leaves her, he remarries, and he has another son. And this other son is the one who gets in a fight in the camp. He's the Ben Ish HaYisraeli who's fighting with the daughter of the Yisraelis. So it's the one who thinks he's Dasan's son, and Dasan's actual son are the one having this fight. Now, not all the Midrashim identify this person as the son of Dasan and the one who was cheated on, so to speak, as Dasan, but without taking it literally, the message that we're hearing over here is that two people associated with Dasan and with Shlomis Bas Divri, who has a problem with speaking a little bit too much, get into a fight. You need like a flow chart over here. He says, you're not from Dan. He says, of course I am. He says, no, you're not. If you were from Dan, your father was a Mitri. He said, my father was a Mitri. He didn't know the story. Where is he? He said, no, Moshe Rabbeinu killed him. He said, how did he kill him? He said, he killed him with the name of God. He goes to Moshe. He's like, all right, where am I supposed to camp? I want to be here. This is only for people from Dan. You're not from Dan. You can't be here. He curses the name of God now. The same name that was used to kill his father. The Mitzri. I feel like I should just leave the cliffhanger and finish, and we should finish this later on. I'm just going to tie a couple of strings together over here, and we're going to let it go from here. So now we have this battle raging, and he curses. Okay, what's so bad? What's the big deal that he cursed his name? So we have spoken in the past about the idea that creation itself came through speech. It says, Vayomer Hashem, Yehior. Vayomer Hashem, Yehi Rakia. Vayomer Hashem, 10 statements that Hashem said and created. And we have spoken about how man, who was created with a godly character, has the ability to create with his words as well. And what he creates with his words is the reality that surrounds him. How he explains things and how he makes sense of things, how he educates people, how he influences people. It's done by the words. The power of speech is the power of creation. God creates the world with speech. We create our own world with speech. And now along comes, and the Torah starts out with the letter Beis, Bereshis. Why? Because Beis is the letter of bracha. Beis is 2. It refers to something becoming more. From 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16. Creation is blessing. The mouth was given, says Chazal, to say praises. Our power of speech is to create goodness in the world. You know what the Mekalel is doing? He's taking this power that makes him godly. He's using the Shem Hashem, which was used to create the world, and he's turning it into a curse. What did Moshe do? Moshe said, Hashem, you created the world. This can't be in the world. This Mitzri beating up your Jew who took his wife unwittingly. No, this can't be. He looked at it with the eyes, so to speak, of Hashem, and the man died. The Mitzri now comes along. The son comes along. He said, that same name. Look how bad my life is. My life stinks. I have no place to go. My father was a Mitzri. How did he deal with his life? It's no good. It's all a curse. He had a hard situation, and he never knew about it. But he cursed. He turned the difficulty. He turned victimhood into a full-time profession. Instead of saying, boy, this is really hard. Moshe, now what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to live now if I don't belong here? Instead, he turned the bad into a curse. We're going to leave it over here. These were there's much more to say on the subject. We could talk about it at a different time. Some people come over. But what we're going to say is that here we are as we're coming through the Omer. It's a time where the Talmidim, Rabbi Kiva, were dying because they didn't have kavod for each other. If we see the world as blessing, we turn it into blessing. If we see the world as curse, it turns into something else. We should be zeicher to enhance and create and make more blessing. Gentlemen, have a beautiful Shabbos.